for a bird? An antiform is like this. An antiform is like this. For a bird, how it will look like? Bird is seeing from the top. It will look like here. It can look like a point if it is very high, or it can be a closed structure. It can be a closed structure. We are looking for closed structure which is filled with hydrocarbon. That means the antiform should have hydrocarbon like this, and antiform should hydrocarbon filled like this. It has to be closed. If it is not closed, what will happen? Hydrocarbon will migrate out further. And if you drill it, it will be a ball structure. Okay? So, the bird, what he sees? The bird sees a plane which is something like this. It may not be a circle, it is a closed structure. Correct? In the subsurface. Are you able to visualize what I am telling? The antiform was closing like this, antiform was closing like this from all way, and it is filled in hydrocarbon. That is maybe oil or gas. Okay? In our terminologies, this is called lead. So a petroleum engineer or an oil and gas technologist are looking for this, which is called lead. Are there golas in the subsurface? So this is on a map. This is not a cross section. It's a map of a subsurface. Okay? And it is called a lead. If you are confident, the structure remains same. If you are confident with more data, it will be called as a prospect. And if you are working for an oil company, they are convinced that it is filled with hydrocarbon. It has a source, reservoir, migration, cap rock, everything is there. It is called a drillable prospect. Nothing has changed. The confidence of the company has changed. The company which he called as lead has become a prospect, and it became a drillable prospect. But it has to be closed from all sides. Otherwise migration would have happened more and hydrocarbon would have gone off. So this is known as a four-way closure, closed from four sides. Closed from four sides, okay? So it is called a four-way closure. So we are looking, oil and gas technologists are looking for four-way closure, right? So I summarize that oil and gas specialists like you will be looking for four-way closure. It is for a bird's eye view, it is a closure. It is not a section, it is a map. There can be several maps in the subsurface. The map shows that this entire structure is filled with hydrocarbon, and if the confidence is less of the company, they may not drill this year. They will collect more data. It's called lead. As the confidence improve, it is called a prospect. As the confidence improve, it is called a drillable prospect. We park this and we come to a new concept now. Clear है? थोड़ा बहुत clear है? I introduced three terms which will be useful for the oil and gas. Now, You will never forget. Many people forget what I'll tell because we will practice it. Earth is layered earth. Correct? Density and velocity are different for this layer and this layer, and it goes to infinity. So how many layers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe many. We are not able to resolve. We did a compression from both sides, that structure developed, antiform. Okay? We stretch it, we will create a hole, synform. Okay? Now, this is a layered, these are layered. This is like this. Due to tectonics, because under the earth there is a lot of pressure temperature change happening, lot of compression, lot of deformation happening. Suppose this is deformed. This is deformed. You're getting my point? There is a deformation and one part goes down below like this. Okay? The structure was like this. It was a layer. Due to tectonics, one part went down. The other part didn't move. Look into this. The other part didn't move. It was like this. There was a pressure exerted here. Deformation happened and one part went down. Are you seeing? This part didn't move. This part moved. Okay? What is this called? Normal fault. Write it down. Normal fault. This part didn't move. Due to gravity, this part moved. So it was like this before the tectonics. This part moved down. It is known as normal fault. So how it will look like? That this was here. This was here. But due to tectonic movement, due to gravity, this went down. Okay? This is known as normal fault. Normal fault. Fault is a disruption. I am creating, the tectonics is creating a disruption. One part didn't move, the other part went down. It is called a normal fault. Clear? Clear? Ashish? Clear? Layering, this is first layer, second layer, third layer. This part, once again don't move. But this part has moved relative to this, upward, against the gravity. This part, because of tectonism from the bottom, pressure was exerted against the gravity, so this part moved up with respect to this. Are you getting? So it will be called a reverse fault. It was like this, the breakage happened, and this part has moved up with respect to this. Never forget. If it is like this, gone down, normal fault, gone up, reverse fault. Okay? Write it, write it. You will take some time. Done? Now it can be like that, that there was a pressure from here and it slipped like this. It slipped like this. It's called strike slip fault. There is a slippage. It has not gone down, it has not gone up, it got slipped. Draw a figure that there is a slippage here. There is a slippage. Okay? It didn't go up, it didn't go down, it just came like this. Okay? Because of a pressure from this side. Or it can get slipped like this. It can go slip like this. Okay? So these are known as strike slip fault. Depending on it is going like this or like that, it is known as sinistral or dextral. Even if you forget sinistral or dextral, you will remember that if the plate is like this, it moves like this, it can move like this, or it can move like this. Okay? So, how many types of faulting? Faulting is disruption due to tectonics. Inside the earth, because of high pressure, temperature also, there is some tectonic movement always. You have seen earthquake happening. Have you not seen? You've heard of earthquake happening. What it is? Tectonic disturbance inside the earth. The pressure regime has changed. So because of microtectonism, we may get the fault to go down. Because of faulting, the block can go down, the block can come up, the block can slip like this, the block can slip like this. Okay? So remember this three term, and I am coming back once again to my structures. Okay? And I want an answer from you now, seeing it. Don't keep bum. What is this, sir? Loudly. Very good. Loudly, all of you, together. Very good. What are these? Two faults. Two faults. Okay? Looking at the picture, tell me this is a normal fault or a reverse fault? I want answer, right or wrong. Ashish? Huh? Normal fault. You? This side. हमको बोलो ना normal fault है ना reverse fault. Where were you, sir? Where were you? Attend. I went along. Lot of things I did. No problem. Continue. Normal fault. Have you seen it here? This should have been like this. But it has moved down here. Normal fault. Okay? So at least my students here understood what is a normal fault. Immediately they could say that this is normal fault. So you identified the antiform, you identified there are two faults on both sides which are normal fault. Correct hai na? This also has gone down here. This has gone down here. This has gone down here. This has gone down here. Correct? Now the amount of displacement it has done, there is a displacement, is known as the throw of the fault. Throw of the fault. Right. ठीक है? The amount of displacement which it done is known as the throw of the fault. Very simple. That my structure was like this. It got faulted from both sides. You identify the fault as normal fault. I didn't identify, you identified, and the structure is faulted now. So you understood what is a synform, you understood what is an antiform, you understood what is a source, you understood what is a reservoir, you understood what is cap, you understood what is migration, you understood faulting, you understood normal fault, you understood reverse fault, you understood strike slip fault. What else? Correct? So, where should we drill? Your name, sir? Huh? Jibin. Where should we drill? It is all filled to the spill. Where should we drill? Next, where should we drill? On the crest. Because it is all filled with hydrocarbon. Correct? Now, if somebody tells that the bird who was looking into that map finds that there is no four-way closure, but he finds that there is a three-way closure and one side there is a fault. The bird saw there is no four-way closure, but there is a three-way closure, one side is a fault. Will he drill here? Is this a lead? It's closed by a fault. Just guess, you imagine, na? Will he drill? Some guess. It's not four-way closure, but it is closed on one side by a fault, normal fault suppose. Will he drill this structure? His management, you are in an oil company, will the management will be ready to drill it? Yes, no? Yes. So I bring a concept that this fault has to be a sealing fault. No more migration is happening through this fault. If oil is still getting migrated, all the oil from here will get migrated. So this fault has to be a sealing fault. But while migration happened to the structure, it was a leaking fault. To hold the hydrocarbon, it has to be a sealing fault. Okay, but as long as migration was happening from the depot center to the structure, it was a leaking fault. It was leaking and went to the structure. Suddenly there was a fault which was sealing fault. So there is, to make this as a lead or a prospect, it has to be a sealing fault. The structure has to be sealed. Okay, another term which I brought was timing. If the oil was migrating, went on migrating, then the structure formed, no value. Oil was migrating, structure formed, oil went there, stopped, value, you drilled. All this has to be learned. Okay, but we got the concept that what is a four-way closure. We got the concept what is a fault closure. We also understood the kinematics of the fault, whether it is a normal fault, reverse fault, or a strike slip fault. Very good. And we understood that you are able to see this. What is this? Depth. What is this? Depth. As we go deeper, we saw the fault, and we have to classify the fault whether it is sealing or leaking fault, right? Clear? Anybody wants any clarification? As long as it was migrating from the source to the reservoir through the fault, it was leaking fault. As long as when the structure has formed and it is closed by a fault, it has to be a sealing fault. If it is a leaky fault, the structure is once again bald headed. It has moved out. Done? Can I go next? So you will come in the oil and gas industry a terminology. So I brought concept of lead, prospect and drillable prospect to you. I also brought concept of source reservoir migration trap, means cap, and timing of migration. So the study of source reservoir migration cap rock, which is impervious. There is no pore space. The top part has to be impervious, no pore space. Reservoir, pore is there and connected pores. And timing of migration, timing of structure are important to understand, and this is known as petroleum system. Right? This is known as petroleum system. So anybody asks you what are the attributes of a petroleum system, your answer is source reservoir migration trap and the timing of migration. And as a technologist, you need to evaluate it whether you should drill or not. Tomorrow I'll be making in the morning only teaching drilling. And we know where to drill. On the crystal part, unless it is a ball-headed structure, we'll go to the flank. Timing of the structure. Correct? Done? I'll go to a very simple concept now and we'll summarize. One of you will come and summarize. So I know that I have done a good job. Because basis on this, today Hari will be teaching you what is production. So I'm skipping drilling. It was thought to be done today, but since we have spent some time, I'll take drilling fresh mind tomorrow morning, but you assume you drilled and he is producing.
Telling about the various people working in the oil and gas industry. I will continue production after.
I will talk drilling?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll touch drilling at exactly 3:05. Okay? I can take drilling today?
Yes.
Or you will take production?
No, sir, what I will do, I will tell the various disciplines working in the oil.
So you take your time right now and then I will touch drilling. You talk advanced drilling or production. You can talk production, whatever you want. But let me complete. We got something. Now you remember when I told earth is layered. Why this is infinity? One of you answer? Why I put an infinity here? Because I could not resolve. Correct? Resolution or vertical resolution is very important. Resolution or vertical resolution. I am not able to resolve between the top and bottom of that bench in front of you from a distance. For me it looks like it's just a plane. Okay? It has a density rho1 V1, velocity rho2 V2, rho3 V3 and rho4 V4. So there has to be something called reflection coefficient. How do I know I am coming from a denser to a rarer medium or a rarer to denser medium? So you may not have studied light, but I'll tell you, it's very easy to calculate what will be the reflection coefficient on this boundary. Okay? You understand what is denser, and you understand honey is denser than water. Honey movement will take time, correct? Honey is dense, water is not so dense. So whether I am coming from a denser to rarer medium in the subsurface, I understand by reflection coefficient. And reflection coefficient R1 is given as rho2 V2 minus rho1 V1 by rho2 V2 plus rho1 V1. Write it down. Even if you have not studied, not very difficult. This reflection coefficient talks whether I am coming from a rarer to denser medium or denser to rarer medium. If rho2 V2 is greater than rho1 V1, that is, this is positive, that means I am coming from a rarer medium to a denser medium. Very important, whether my layers in the subsurface are more dense than the previous layer. Right? Then I will. Similarly, what will be R2, sir? Anyone? R2, reflection coefficient at this boundary. One of you, brave boy. You are brave, you tell me. Rho3 V3 minus rho2 V2 by rho3 V3 plus rho2 V2, and so on you calculate the various reflection coefficient at various boundaries. Okay? Write it down. Little difficult without science background, but you just understand whether we are going from a denser to a rarer medium or rarer to denser medium. Okay? And this technology is used, which is known as seismic. Exactly, this is used for a technique to understand subsurface, where the antiforms are, where the synform are, based on reflection coefficient. And the technique is known as seismic survey. I have shown you there. So there is a difference between seismology and seismic. There is a difference between seismology and seismic. You have seen earthquake happening. May not be in Kerala, but in the northern belt, even in the southern Creton, it's stable, but there can be earthquake. That means there is a natural triggering of tectonics in the subsurface. But here we are creating a disturbance, man-made disturbance, maybe blasting a dynamite to change a little bit of tremor. Tremor, you understand? If this room shakes, there is a tremor. And the principle which we will use is seismic. Seismology is earthquake understanding, which is natural phenomena. Seismic is a man-made disturbance to understand the subsurface. What do we understand? Antiform and synform, faults, and whether it is filled with hydrocarbon. But if anybody asks you, does seismic show you hydrocarbon? You say no, it only shows structuring. We'll talk when it can show you oil. Okay? So we summarize, and then somebody will summarize here before we go to the next lecture. That is, I'm very particular about time, 3 o'clock. So we summarize what we taught today, that without any background, you understood couple of things. What are those? The ingredients of petroleum system. What are those? Source. Go on with me. Loudly. The source, reservoir, migration, cap, and timing of the structure. Correct? that we learned. We also learned what is antiform, what is synform, what is antiformal antiform, what is synformal synform, form is structure, antiformal anticline means which way is the younging direction. Cline word comes from whether it is younging, it talks about time of deposition. Which is older, which is younger. So never use the word anticline. Many people use, it's wrong. So it's antiform. Form is structure. We also understood what is a normal fault, what is a reverse fault, what is a strike slip fault. It can be dextral, it can be sinistral. Okay? We understood also that inside the earth it is layered. There may be tectonics to create antiform, and then there can be faulting. We tell today, if you have to understand a structure, the fault has to be sealing fault. But in the past there was lot of migration of hydrocarbon from the source to the reservoir, which brought the hydrocarbon to those structures. We also use fill to the spill structure, fill to the spill, where the top of the structure is also filled till there is water. I didn't bring the concept of water, oil-water contact, we'll use it tomorrow. But it is filled with hydrocarbon. If there is no filling of hydrocarbon on the crest of the structure, we called it bald-headed. Okay? And we also told three concepts: lead, prospect and drillable prospect. The companies will put money if they are convinced this is a drillable prospect. If I drill, there is hydrocarbon. But for your notes, if you drill 5 wells, in spite of your best attempt, 1 well is successful in India or anywhere in the world. So success, in spite of putting all technologies, the success rate of drilling 5 wells having hydrocarbon is just 1 well. Okay? With this, we'll stop this. Who want to summarize the way I told? I take sir at the back, you can come and summarize. And if you remember, I told you 10%, I'm happy. Bring that colored thing tomorrow, okay? That is very important. And I'll give you something more. You continue, sir. Give them one. Tell, sir, tell. We are all studying together. Louder. I don't have a microphone, or I don't know what they have put here, but I don't require. You should be able to speak in a class of 200.
Oil, gas and water. Some places oil and water will form, some places gas and water.
So the contact between oil and water is known as oil and water contact, or if it is gas and water, it is known as gas and water. We as explorationists try to see if this is filled with oil, this is water, okay, or this is gas, and then we try to understand where there is a boundary which is called the oil water boundary or gas water boundary, correct? Fill to spill. Okay, continue.
Oil are stored in the empty form. So, if it is filled to the top, it is called filled to the spill, and if the top part is empty, it is called bottom top.
Bald-headed.
Bald-headed.
There is no bald-headed here, but there are many people whose head is bald. Okay.
If it is filled to the top, or filled in the
Crest.
the second part, and if it's bald-headed, it will drill in the.
And it may be that even on the flank there is no hydrocarbon, so it's completely bald-headed. Okay, next, sir. What are the ingredients of a petroleum system?
Source,
Reservoir,
hydration,
cap,
cap,
and timing of the structure. Okay? Obviously, a trap has to be there. Without a trap, you use the word trap, T-R-A-P, in your diary. Trap is that anti-form. Okay, next. We talked about 3 different types of faulting. What are those? Normal,
folding, reverse folding, and
strike slip fault.
stress folding.
We also use the concept played, lead, prospect, and reliable prospect, and we told that understanding petroleum system is very important, and I was very happy to understand in the subsurface you were able to identify what is a normal fault. You saw for a normal fault, after faulting it goes with the gravity, against the gravity, thrust fault, and there is a slippage, strike slip fault. That's from my side. 5 minutes break will take, and Hari can start after that. Hari will start.
Perfect. Magnet. I'll speak little bit about career in oil and gas. 5 minutes break. Edukam. I'll go.
You want to go to washroom and do come back.
I will go a little mix, sir.